What's up, everybody? Lawler here, giving you guys a quick update of what's going on behind the scenes. We're going to crush through this. This is kind of an all-encompassing. We've got some roster stuff as well as things about RLCS in particular and how quickly it is actually approaching. We're already about to hit December here, which means that in hopefully just about a month and a half, we're going to have more RLCS to enjoy. I will say, as kind of a teaser, when that happens, we're going to completely redo my roster document. We're going to simplify things on it, add some like aggregates, potentially maybe like overall ranking situation or like a rating of like strength of schedule and some fun stuff with that based upon results, which are factual. We're going to as well talk about power rankings with some teams in mind of first reactions and all that kind of stuff. We did a halfway point. If you guys don't remember, go check that out. But we'll also do a solidified rosters, everything you need to know, all that kind of stuff like we always do. With that in mind, let's talk about some of the RLCS roster changes that have happened, confirmed, and then we'll get into more of the all-encompassing RLCS news for you guys to talk about. So first things first, the super team from Crew is becoming more and more likely. Crew did recently announce that they are letting go of drops, which means that that super team does look like it is starting to build. They are looking, from what the rumors have been, BEMS, AJG, former of Complexity, which I still think is a terrible release, and then Card. Likely that's going to be a top 4 roster in SAM. I think that SAM top 4 is going to be nasty between Secret, NIP, Furia going back to South America, and then you got Crew. I think you are going to see a battle. SAM is probably going to be one of my favorite regions to watch this upcoming season. Just putting that out there. On top of that, we also have Gregan, who has been trying to find something long-term, has announced that he is going to be coaching for the top Cougars roster, Acro, Toxic, and Relating Wave. If you guys did not see this team perform, they actually looked pretty dang solid. Like, out of all the teams that were kind of just mushed together going into Flip and Spin, this one had potential. I actually really liked this roster outside of just the Moist team. So I do think it is, hopefully with some refinement, hopefully with some love, they can continue to build and grow, because obviously Relating Wave has been around for a while, but for Acro and Toxic, some potential. Obviously still looking for an organization, nothing signed to them yet, which is where we then start talking about the second part of the conversation, which is kind of all-encompassing RLCS stuff. Also, if you guys need to stay up to date on stuff, I have all these. Eventually, we're going to break them down to NA and EU and everything as well. But when it comes to the actual all-encompassing RLCS stuff, some things to discuss and talk about. First things first, start times and everything else. Nothing officially announced just yet, but based upon the video I put out like 4 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, it's been a bit. I talk about the potential of when RLCS could start, what the format changes are, and I would like to reiterate those because I feel a bit more confident in them. First and foremost, we can assume that RLCS is going to start mid-January. I think based upon the timing, you've got a 3-month off season. They're going to a 2024 season, a 2025 season that expands the entirety of the year. The way they can do that, the way that is going to be based upon my assumption from what I've seen from other leagues, is based upon the Counter-Strike model, where you have Rocket League now is going to be for roughly 9 months out of the year with a hard 3-month break before we get right back into it. It allows them to take off for vacations and actually have a real break, and hopefully, knock on wood, with only one trade window is my assumption between the first split and the second split. That means the offseason should maybe release some teams to actually taking time off. They're not going to be constantly stressed and under the burden that is the craziness of the roster change scenario that we're seeing right now, because all these players should be able to relax and rest up and then come December time get back into the swing of things. That has not been the case. All these teams have been pure panic mode, scrimming like crazy, trying to figure out what their new teams are going to be. So if I had to guess, the general format for the RLCS expected to start January 2nd or 3rd week, depending on when they want to do open qualifiers, with the start being the next week. That will go then for roughly 2.5-3 months. There is a trade window. I hope the trade window is a little bit longer, but I doubt it. Probably going to be like a week and a half, 2 weeks as always. And then they'll get into the second split. After that, we'll then go into the World Championship, which I assume will be August, September time, depending on how much they want to smush things together. But expect the season to be wrapped up mid-September by the latest. That gives you roughly 9 months of Rocket League with 3 months off, which should be the standard, because in Counter-Strike, the same thing happened. Counter-Strike pros travel for 260 days out of the year. It's absolutely absurd. They also make a lot of money because of it. There's a ton of tournaments. There's always like a weekly going on for a couple $100,000. And I think Psyox is with Epic's help trying to do that. They're trying to expand. They're trying to grow. They are trying to do everything they can to make as many opportunities as possible, because right now in the current ecosystem, it is RLCS or nothing. There is no time for anything else. So we're hoping more chance for opening up third-party events, more of the BTSs, more of the We Plays, more of the WSOEs, all the fun third-party tournaments that the pros really like to do because they're not RLCS weighted. I think they're going to try to do their best to bring that back. That is my gut. I hope I'm right. We'll see how it goes. Alongside that, we're hoping that things start to expand a little bit because there is less chances to go to majors because there's only going to be 2 potentially. The hope is that with DreamHacks and everything else in the partnership they have with the EFG group, ESL, Faceit, DreamHack, all of them are one giant conglomerate. They also have Esports Engine, Vindix. They have so many that they own. They're basically a monopoly now. The hope is that they, and based upon the rumors, expand to 24 teams. So instead of majors being 16, expect there to be kind of like Worlds where there's 24 teams with 16 playing in the initial qualifiers and then 8 promote to join the 8 auto qualified. I would love to see that. I don't know if it's going to happen because it does make it complicated, but it would put more weight on the top performing teams for each region, which I think would be awesome as well. I think the teams that are performing the best throughout regional should be rewarded for it and have that weighted more heavily, rather than it being towards the tail end where you can have a team that doesn't make 2 majors absolutely crush spring and go on to win a world championship or be competitive. Looking at UBDS. So I'm curious on what kind of adjustments they're going to do that. They've always got a little bit of a refinement period, and I'm okay with them having an extended break to figure that stuff out. But you're talking the layoffs that have happened at Epic and the consolidation where they now have the Psyonix Rocket League esports team, which is 2 people. And then they have the Epic Games competitive team. Those are merging. Hopefully they put their brains together and something good comes out of it. Alongside that, we're also talking about roster changes starting to lock in. Now that that final puzzle piece, which I've been touting about for a while, of Justin has finally, what seems like, found his home in Shopify Rebellion, the rest finally know where they can lock in. You're talking, okay, what's Luminosity's they're going to be if they're going cheese? That means Chicago can go to Dig, or he can go to SSG. SSG, do they want to go with Chicago? Do they want to go with Aris? Do they want to go with... You're starting to see those tryouts happen, and eventually the teams become more comfortable and say, hey, it's between one of these 2. This one trialed out better. Let's make an offer. This is who we want. So expect teams to start locking in here within the next probably month. I would say probably within the next couple weeks. I think mid-January is when we start. Figure a month before that, we should have teams locked in. So figure in the next 2 weeks, I think teams are going to be locked. They probably won't be made public. They still got to find organizations as well. There's a lot of orgs that are kind of like tiptoeing and trying to test the waters of what they can get away with financing wise, because salaries are still ridiculous. You're talking like the top performing team in Apex Legends right now in the offseason is 1/3 the price of one player in a Rocket League. It's kind of ridiculous. So the same salary for one NA pro is an entire team in Apex. It's a lot. So the market has to kind of adjust, or organizations need to find a better way to get value out of their players, which you're starting to see. I think people are starting to be more realistic. Agents are starting to be more realistic about what the requirements are. So good stuff with that. So overall, I think over the next couple weeks, things we can expect. More rumors and stuff probably from Shift trying to lock in and confirm, hey, these are the finalizations of these rosters. You're looking to see like, hey, very likely that this one player is going to be the final piece for this team. Expect that stuff over the next couple weeks to kind of give you guys a heads up. Hopefully an announcement from Psyonix finalizing what the next season is going to look like. While there has been conversations that I can say have happened behind the scenes, hopefully a public post with everything locked in, specific dates, and the kind of teaser of what the season's going to be, all the specifics, so we can talk in detail that. On this channel specifically, make sure you guys like, subscribe, notifications, all that fun stuff. We'll be doing future talks about these rosters. We're going to do way too soon power rankings, teams I think are going to make the major, as well as start talking first looks for some of these teams. So you guys don't want to miss out on that. As always, you guys know what to do. Otherwise, join us on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Lawler. Coming out with us. We'd love to have you. But for that, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.